be a block or it could be 2 blocks. So giving yourself as much height as you need. You take the skin of the calf, swell it out to the side and sit between your feet with your big toes straight back. Most important thing is just that you're sitting so that your shoulders and your hips are straight on top of each other. So Lucy, opposite, knees are together and feet are apart. Oh, yeah, and then take a stack of blankets in between your feet. But the other alternative, if you're not happy like that, is just to take your knees and feet together and take as many blankets as you need and sit up on your heels. You still have the hips over the shoulders right over the hips position. And again, you can sit in simple cross legs, but watch that you're not sitting, I'll exaggerate like this with your knees higher than your hips. So again, you give yourself as much height as you need on a blanket so that your knees can come, and you can take 4 blankets, you can take 2 blocks in a blanket. So give yourself space. I am going to take the Virasana seat, and I like to use a block when I do that. So we are going to explore what's called, well, queen inversions. We're moving in that direction, but the anatomy of queen inversions is when the head is lower than the heart. In fact, in yoga, it said that when we surrender to the heart, that is the practice of yoga. So the heart lifts up and the head moves down. Welcome, you got your props all ready for you here. Okay. So sitting in a way that your spine is tall, with your hands on your legs, take a moment to slide your elbows back to make space for the heart. And then elevate the heart by think about the bottom of your chest bone to the top. Just raise that up a little bit. And then let your shoulders drop back. Take your back teeth apart. There's a little thing we do with our throat called Jalapara Bandha. Bandha just means a lock. It's not a fierce lock. It's just a gentle kind of positioning the back of the head to roll up a little bit. Back of the teeth soft. And when you inhale your breath, take the front of your throat back towards the back of the throat a little bit so you hear the sound sa. And then when you exhale your breath, keep it that way. You hear the sound ah. So let your eyes close. Bring your awareness to your breath and just hear the sound. It's a gentle drawing of the front of the throat back a little bit. A gentle lift up from the lower part of the back of your head towards the top. And a gentle lift up from the base of your sternum to the top. So the head has a sense of lifting. And the brain has a sense of descending. As you breathe in this way, hear that sa on the inhale, the ha on the exhale. Just having awareness that as you breathe in, you're filling the spaces in the cavity around them. And as you breathe out, it says that the brain is descending to the heart, surrendering to the heart. And the heart moves up. And the brain moves down. And that is yoga. 3 more breaths like that. And then with minimal disturbance, just come forward with your prop behind you and come into child pose. So use your tummy wide, your toes touch. And again, the brain moves down. And the heart moves up. Take your arms plenty wide. So line your forearms up with the wide edge of your mat with your elbows bent so that you can feel that expansion in the heart center as you breathe in. And that sense of the brain moving down as you breathe out. And try that for 2 more breaths. And inhale, come on up to all fours. Take your pinky fingers as wide as your mat and slide your knees under your hips now. Stretch your fingers and your fingers away, thumbs towards each other, and claw on your mat. And we'll come into a cat-cow. Begin with your tailbone, and as you inhale, 1 vertebra at a time, really focus on the lift of the heart moving up here, not the head, the heart. So just let the heart move up and the head stay in a neutral position. And then as you exhale, you start from the tailbone, round the spine, and have a sense of the head dropping. Go back and forth a couple of breaths, really aware of that upward movement of the heart and the downward movement of the head. And feel every vertebrae moving. When the heart lifts up, be aware of the spine between the shoulder blades coming forward. When the head moves down, be aware of the spine between the shoulder blades rounding and the shoulder blades moving away from the spine. 1 more series, your pace. Good, and then land, when you're done with that one, in a table position, lift your low belly up, clawing your mat, press your hands towards your legs without moving. Just really feel your arms engage, tuck your toes, take your feet as wide as your mat, come up to your hands and feet, and spin your heels out, coming into downward facing dog, spin your heels out a lot. Yep, clawing the mat, take your chest towards your thighs, let your head hang down. Take a breath into that big expansive space in the heart cavity. As you exhale, surrender the head. 1 more in breath here. Exhale, top of the thighs, reaching way back. Good, inhale your gaze forward. Exhale, walk your feet to your hands now. Take your feet as wide as your mat. Spin your heels out here, bend your knees and hold your elbows. Let your head really drop down, center crown of the head, just straight down towards the floor. And then start to shift your weight a little forward. And then hug your thighs snug and straighten your legs only enough that you find your sweet spot. It doesn't have to be all the way straight if that feels too much for you. And as you exhale the breath, once again, we have the heart higher than the head here, so this is actually an inversion. Just feel the weight of your head drawing down. Good, take your hands to your hips, take the elbows back as you inhale, take your time, come all the way up from the palms facing, reach the fingers up. And then as you exhale, take your hands to your heart. Good, release your hands down, take your blocks to the sides of your feet and the tall or low position. This depends on you. If you bend your knees in a forward bend, take your blocks taller. And take your heels out here. Take your hands to the front of your thighs. And press your thighs back and lift in this position the base of your sternum to the top of your sternum. That arc, lift it up. And then slide your elbows a little behind your ribs and feel the front of the heart open more. And then release the hands by your sides. So keeping that heart open shape, inhale the arms up, palms facing, reach to the pinky finger side of your hand. Good, then exhale, arms out to the side, land your hands on the blocks, pause, and inhale, lengthen into a flat back forward bend here. So in this position, the heart is lifting towards the head, the forehead parallel to the floor. And then as you exhale the breath, point the elbows back as you bend further in, and once again, descend the head below the heart. Inhale here, lengthen again, heart goes forward. Exhale, bend from the hip crease, surrender the head. 1 more like that, inhale, heart forward. And exhale, surrender the head. Set your blocks off to the side. Bend your knees, bring your hands back as wide as your mat, pinky fingers as wide as your mat. Step back into a plank pose with your hips a little bit higher than your shoulders. Claw your mat with your fingers. And then engage your low belly and lower your hips so that you're in plank pose. Find your breath here. As you inhale your breath, still think about the heart drawing forward like you're shooting it forward between the hands. As you exhale, feel the whole handprint press. Take one more in breath here. And then exhale, drop the knees, take the big toes to touch. Reach back into child pose with the armpits and forearms lifting. So you're reaching the hips way back, but you're really rooting the palm print down. Surrendering the head down, inhale, expanding into the space in the heart. Good, exhale as the hips drop back. Inhale, come forward and take your forearms onto your mat. Line them up parallel, so wrist to elbow, parallel to the edge of your mat, and then step back into a forearm plank. Keep your finger pads clawing, your low belly lifting. Once again, shoot the heart forward between the hands. Keep the core and low belly engaged. Take your arm bones back. And exhale, lower the hips down. Uncurl your toes. Press the toenail side of your foot down and lift the heart up. And find your breath here as you inhale, draw breath all the way up to your collarbones. Good, and then exhale, come all the way down, lift your forehead. Tap onto the mat, slide your hands back now so your thumbs are at the middle of your chest. Anchor the tops of your feet, snug the thighs, lift your tailbone. Draw your elbows towards each other and then inhale, well up into cobra. Good, exhale, one vertebra at a time, lower down. Do that 2 more times with your breath and with the awareness on the in-breath. The heart is lifting up. Your gaze is slightly forward and down, you're not arching the head up. And as you exhale, just surrendering the forehead back down. And keeping the tailbone lifted, inhale, come up again. Collarbones lift at the top of the inhale. Good, and as you exhale, surrendering the forehead back in. And take a resting breath here. And come back up to all fours. And tuck your toes, lift your hips, and come back into downward facing dog. Lift the armpits up, let your shoulder blades glide kind of towards your ears. You're reaching the hips back. As you reach the thighs back, let your toes get really light. Good, find your breath here. Opening that space in the heart on the in-breath. Surrendering the chest towards the thighs on the out-breath. Good, inhale your gaze forward. Exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Just hip distance now. Do slide the heels out. Start with your knees bent. Hold the elbows. Let your head just hang down. And then bring your hands to your hips. Take the elbows back. Inhale, come all the way up. Stretch the fingers out. Take the arm bones back. Lift the chest up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then release your hands by your sides. Clasp your hands behind your back. Reach the knuckles to the floor. And then take both hands over to the left rib and point the left elbow back. And then coil the heart out. So your ribs are pressing into the forearms, the elbows straight back. You see, so the palms are like this, and it just clasp. Yeah, so clasp your hands like that first, then come up, and then point the elbow back. There you go. Yeah, so you can take if the elbow goes up high, you can slide your arms lower than back. But try to lean back in the upper shoulders. If your forearm is touching your ribs, just kind of lean back into that. Take a breath all the way up to your collarbone. Good, and then release your hands down in no shape. And bring it to the other side. So clasp first, the palms are open.
And then just take the knuckle side of the left hand to the right rib, and then point the right elbow back. Press the heels down and lift the heart up. Take a breath all the way up to your collarbones. And then exhale, release your hands. Take your hands to your hips now. Step your left foot back and line your back arch up with the heel of your front foot, the back heel, just a little bit more further back than the heel to the side of your foot, and have a block on the inside of your right foot. Go ahead and drop your top of the right thigh bone down. Just put your hand on the thigh. Just gonna anchor the thigh bone down. And then take your right hand out to the block by your ankle. Take a moment to ground the energy through both heels. And with the arm, press it into the leg and turn your heart up. And look towards your chest. Take the back of your head back. So it's not about the head going up, it's about the heart going up. Just feel the heart arc up, up, up. You can walk your hand behind your back and catch that right thigh, left hand on the top of the right thigh. Or if you don't have that reach, you can keep the hand on the hip. Yeah, and just really lean the shoulders back, open the heart, find your breath here. Drop your chin a little more towards your chest now, and then take that left arm, thumb to your ear, and then reach and extend it long by your ear. Root the back heel down, feel the length from the back heel through the top fingers. As you exhale, feel both heels connect. Open the heart up here. Good, exhale, bring that hand back to your hip. Inhale, come all the way up. Now take your block on the outer side of your foot tall by your calf. And again, take your hands to your hips. Turn your hips towards the front foot and reach the right arm forward. So reach forward, keep your heels pressing. Take that hand once again lightly on the block. And lean back first. So take the shoulders right up. Lift the heart from the bottom of the sternum to the top. Drop your chin towards your chest. Good, and then inhale, take that left arm up, come into Trikonasana. So a head neutral, actually take your left hand to the back of your head for a moment, just the palm. Press the back of your head into your palm. And then with your hand cupping the back of the head, just invite the back of the head a little more away from the shoulders. So your gaze is just straight ahead here. Good, and then take the hand straight up. And then with the palm towards the floor, reach long by your ear. Feel the light from the back, heel through the top fingers. Good, exhale, take that hand to your hip. Inhale, come back up. Take your hands to your chest. Now take your thumbs right to the base of your sternum. You take a half step narrower. Yeah, thumbs to the base of the sternum. Take your upper arm bones back. Lift your sternum from the bottom to the top. Just give that lift. Inhale, extend the arms out long. Reach from the center of the heart to the pinky fingers and exhale, drop that right thigh bone. Coming into warrior two, your gaze over the front fingers. Reach the left side of your body left, as much as you're reaching to the right. So you're right there in the center, your spine vertical. Find your breath here as you inhale, lift the heart up. As you exhale, descend the shoulders, hips to heels. Take one more in breath here. Good, then exhale, cartwheel both hands down to the floor or to your blocks. Come into a lunge here, lift the top of the back thigh up and lift the crown of the head forward. Take your hands flat with the pinky fingers as wide as your mat. Take the right foot back, come into a plank pose here. Engaging your low belly up. And then from your low belly, lift up and come back into downward facing dog. Spin the heels out. And lift the armpits up. And raise the top of the thighs back. Find your breath here. Good, inhale your gaze forward, exhale, walk your feet to your heels. Fold in, heels out. Fold the arms at your torso, straight forward, lift your head Surrender down, front of the head down.
Good, and then as you exhale the breath, take your hands to your hips. Slide the elbows back and then inhale, come all the way up.
And exhale again, take your hands to your heart, thumbs to your sternum. So take it right where your ribs and your sternum meet. So from there, just use your thumbs to invite the sternum a little bit up. Take the arm bones a little bit back. Extend the arms straight out with the palms facing forward. So just notice. The arm bones go back. Thigh bones also go back, tailbone slightly down, just how much space you can make here. Let the heart lift, drop the chin slightly. Good, exhale, release your hands back to your hips. Take your right foot back now. Slide your heel back and take your block out of the inside of that left foot. And then descend the left thigh bone, so take your hand on the thigh bone and just let it drop down. And then slide the hand onto the block, connect the arm and leg, invite the leg bone back. The back, top shoulder, right shoulder, and elbow back. But the heart is lifting up. So from the base of the sternum to the top, just lift the heart, draw your chin towards your chest. And your shoulders way back. Top shoulder way back. Like you're arching over your back with that leg there. And then inhale, take the top arm long by your ear. Find your breath here. The back heel through the top fingers. And everything like that. As you exhale, feel the heels connect. One more in breath here. Exhale, take that hand to your hip. Take your time, come on up. Take the block on the outer side of your calf in the tall position now. With your hands on your hips, turn towards that front foot. And then take the left arm forward. So keep your hips turning towards the front foot. And you're just lightly laying that hand on the block. And then lifting up off the block again. Take the top elbow back, the shoulder back, really coil the heart upward. Just notice the space there in the heart as you do. Inhale the top one up. Here, and then exhale, take it arm long by your ear. From the back, heel through the top fingers, feel the length. And keep the heart rotating up. The gaze is just straight ahead. Chin is slightly tucked. Take your hand to the back of the head here. Again, press the head into the hand and coil the heart up. And then try re-extending the arm. Good, exhale, take that hand to your hip. Take your time coming up, bring your hands once again to the center of your chest. Take the arms back. Lift the bottom of the sternum to the top. So both legs straight here initially. Just feel when you press the heels, that also makes your heart go down. And then extend the arms down. Keeping your spine vertical, drop the top, the left thigh bone. Take your gaze over the front fingers, coming into warrior two. So just feel the spaciousness in the heart in the space in this pose rather. The lower tips of the shoulder blades, think tuck them towards the opposite hip pocket. And expand the opening in the front of the heart space. Take one more in breath here. Good, as you exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Come back into a lunge with and without your blocks. Lengthen from the back heel through the crown of the head on the in-breath, the heart coiling up. Even in this position, the head is deferential to the heart. So the back of the head extends towards the crown of the head, the chin slightly tucks. Bring your hands flat, sit that front foot back, come back into a plank pose. Low belly engaged. And then exhale, drop down to your knees, knees wide, big toes touch. Come back into child pose, let the forearms bend. Take them wide as your neck. Forehead rest. Find your breath again. Find that feeling of expansion in the heart. The softening in the spine between your shoulder blades.
the dropping of the head. Just feel all of that. Good, inhale, come on up to all fours. And exhale, come back into downward facing dog. You feel the root of your hands from the thumb pad, the index finger knuckles, the finger pad tips, just all pressing, the armpits lifting. Lots of space here for breath as you exhale, reach the heels a little wider, the top of the thighs back a little more, and let the toes get light. And find another in breath here. Another exhale. And then inhale your gaze forward, exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Once again, spin the heels a little out, bend the elbow, knees at first, hold the outer elbows, let your head just drop. Then take your hands to your hips and take the elbows back. Take your time coming up. Inhale, come all the way up.
Clasp your fingers here, take the index fingers straight out. Take the arm bones back, take the leg bones back. And then inhale, long breath. Up the front of the spine. And exhale, let your arms just float back by your sides. And bring your hands onto your hips again, point your elbows back. Actually, take your palms to the sacrum, fingers down. Point your elbows back. Lift the collarbones up. Drop your chin slightly, find your breath, hear that constrict the front of the throat a little bit, so you hear the sa-ha sound as you inhale and exhale. Good, then take your hands onto your hips, keeping your right foot forward. Take your left foot back with your heel pointed back, your toes turned forward, your hips turned forward. So if your left hip is lagging behind, step your left foot a little more left. So that both index fingers are in front of your hip bones. They're both parallel to the front of your mat. So then take your elbows back again with the heart up. Drop your right thigh bone down. So your right knee is over and close, so you can slide your foot if you need to. And then draw the elbows back and lift the heart up. Take your right hand and the right thigh bone and just invite it down. Take your left hand forward with your thumb up and reach that arm. And press the back heel down. Imagine a line across the front of your body below your left hip over to your left finger. It's just a smooth arc up. And then take the right arm up. So take both arm bones back. So with this pose where you want all about lifting the heart, dropping your gaze, you're looking towards your nose. That all about opening and lifting the heart. Keep your back outer heel pressing. Find your breath here. Take another deep breath. Good. Exhale, release your hands back to your hips. Step your left foot forward and stand for a moment in Tadasana. Just notice your body. Especially noticing the space of your heart. Does it feel any more open, any lighter? Take your hands to your hips. Step your right foot back. So your right heel goes back. And turn your hips forward. And again, step your right foot to the right as much as you need to. Yep, so that you can turn your hips forward. Whirl the elbows back and the heart. Drop the left thigh bone. Now take your left hand on the top of the left thigh. Let it drop. Like really root it down. Your back heel rooted. And then coil the right, or take the right arm up. Left hand press down, right arm press up. And then take the arm bone back. Move the heart up. Again, a smooth arc from the front of the hip bone all the way up to the right pinky fingers. Just feel that. And then take the right arm. Good. Find your breath here. And breath rolling up the front of the body. And then moving down. Take one more deep breath here. Good. Exhale. Release your hands. Step your back foot forward. Release your hands once again by the sides of the mat. Just kind of know this as and take 2 blocks on the sides of your feet. And take your feet a little wider than your hips. Spin your heels out. Take your hands in the front of the thighs with your thumbs inward. Yeah, so your thumbs are pressing on the inner thighs. With your hands in your thighs, press the thighs back. Again, lift your heart up. So from the base of your sternum, lift upward. Keep the thighs pressing back and fold in. Take your hands onto the blocks. And come into a little flat back here first. So in a flat back forward bend, think base of the sternum lifting towards the top of the sternum. Forehead parallel to the floor and the arm bones reaching back. That should feel like there's length in the back of your neck. Good, and then from there, bend from the hip crease. Point your elbows back, preferably palms flat on your block. You can activate the elbows back a little bit more. And again, feel the length in the back of your neck. Head is definitely surrendering. You can wiggle your head a little bit. Your neck should feel free. And then the heart should feel full. And take another breath. Now take your hands to your hips, take the elbows back, take your time. Inhale, come all the way back up. Stretch the fingers upward, clasp the fingers, take the index finger up. And you feel the full weight of your spine. And then exhale, and lightly release your hands back down. Again, feel the front of your body just really open here. All right, we're going to transition to the floor with a special way of rolling the blankets. So you're going to take 2 blankets. And you're going to make a big fat roll with 2 blankets together. So from this position. Then stack the 2 blankets. Then you're going to make a roll. You want to keep it firm. So if you're at home and you're using softer blankets, you just have to push down a lot to keep that roll firm. You're going to put what I call the tail edge, the fringy edge, away from you on your mat. So I have mine about midway on my mat. So that I've got room for my head on one side, my feet on the other. I'm going to take the 2 blocks. Actually, like that. No, like that. So like this, I have a T. So let me show you what you're gonna do now, I'll assist those that are in the room. So where I want to land with this one, which is the most important thing, is I want my shoulder blades to be on this, but I want to roll off of it. So I'm gonna start out on. I want to roll off of it until my top of my shoulders. It's okay if they're floating, but they drop towards the floor. And these blocks, I want to support my tail. Might be behind that one soon. Depends on how long your torso is. So most importantly is that my Navi C7, let's sit up, I'll show you where that is off the floor. And I'm going to use my hands to take my head in that back of the skull, rolling towards the crown of the head position. And arms like so. Feels great. So I don't want to get up and no. So when you come out of it, you're just gonna roll yourself off. And you can even just lift your hips and slide that out, but you don't want to make yourself upward. So start with that roll behind you. You can even take your hands onto it and just kind of start out with where is that for me? Take it into your shoulder blades and then just start to roll off. So you definitely want to have your shoulder blades on the blanket. The knotty C7 that I was talking about is that big vertebrae. It's your last cervical vertebrae, it's called C7, floating. When you get back there, you need to go a whole lot more back in the blankets. Come on down, because you're gonna run out of your mat. Take your blankets closer to you. Have the fringy part away.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Yeah, yes, and then just arms go to the side. Do take your, do take your hands to the back of your head and scoop your head so that you're rolling the back of your occiput towards the crown of your head. And Patty, come on down and take your, you need to go that way, your blanket's more, but you're gonna run out of your mat. Yeah. Take your blankets closer. And then rest your arms with your elbows out to the side. Those in the room are still getting a little adjusted. I assume you aren't home too, so take your time. Such a delicious pose. Yeah, you do want to feel like your head is. That goes under your jaw. See your blocks. You don't get started. Still in this way. More. Lower tip of your shoulder blades on your blanket. Yeah, there you go. Yes. And then take your tailbone towards the block. So it's definitely a back bending pose. Open your arms up. Keep your knees bent. Your tailbone drops. Your example. Let your gaze drop towards your chest. Back. Say it again. Back. Where? Yeah, let's take these a little bit here and then try. A little bit. Yeah, that's right. Take your feet wide and let your knees knock in. Take your tailbone towards your block. Find your breath. Have a sense of the breath just kind of rolling up the front of your spine. The in breath. Yeah, and the shoulders dropping on the out breath. Big, expansive heart opening. This is considered one of the Queen inversions. Part of the way that you know that is the position of your sternum. It's moving more towards vertical. And just find your breath here. And to come down, take your knees over your ankles again, so your feet are firm. Start to slide yourself towards your head. And when you get your shoulders to the floor, and you kind of lift up and slide that blanket out of the way, with your blocks out of the way, and rest with your back flat, your head down. Your arms just by your side. And then roll your knees to your side. Use your hands to gently come up. You just feel. You don't think I did want flexibility back here for that pose. It was a little bit challenging. Is it feel like it's still stiff in that spot right now? So let's help Lucy to leave that spot on your back. So sit cross-legged. You're gonna do the one thing with the blanket, so just leave everything there now. But just sit in a cross-legged position. Now sit up on the blanket if your knees go high. Just crossing your mid shins is fine. Take your hands behind your hips with your thumbs forward, fingers down. And lift your spine up.
Shoulders are over your hips. Take your right hand behind your back. Take your left hand to your right knee, look straight ahead. Inhale and lift, again, lift the chest, not so much arching the neck, it's really lifting the chest towards the chin. Bend your elbows away from each other. Press the left hand into the right leg and start to twist from your hips. So let your left hip even lift a little bit. And just start to turn. The more you press your left hand and right leg together, with the elbow reaching forward, and you can start to get into that space in the ribs as a stretch. Take a breath in here. You feel that this. Good, and then exhale, come back to the center. Switch your hands and straight ahead at first. Inhale, elevate the spine. Exhale, press the hand and the leg together, the elbows bending away from each other. Let your right hip lift a little, right sitting bone lift a little bit, so your hips are turning. But then so is the belly, the ribs, and the chest. The more you press the hand and leg together, reach the elbow forward, and the back elbow backward. The more you find a stretch in that space along the ribs. So let the spine between your shoulder, or let the shoulder blades rather move away from the spine, so you're creating space there. Good. Exhale, come on back. Now take your blankets. And roll them. You put them back in a, what we call a Tadasana blanket shape, which is this one. If you're at home and you only have 2 blankets, that's fine. In class, I'm going to treat you this pose with 4 blankets. You're going to take your Tadasana blanket towards the back of your mat with plenty of room for your head. And you're going to just make it really smooth. And you're going to make a stack with 2 or 4 blankets. And just make sure that when you make your stack, your edges are lined up, and each blanket is smooth. You may have a strap nearby, and to show you all the different variations of this pose. Okay, move your body into that room for your head. I'm going to do same with you, so you take your, so your blankets are not all the way at the edge of your mat, they're forward, so I've got room for my head back here. This is a intro to pose, particular variation of bridge pose. We're not taking the legs all the way up, we use the blocks for support. So just watch first, what I really want you to get is your shoulders are on the inside of this roll. As soon as you lift your hips up, you'll have a tendency to shift and maybe they'll roll off. So I don't want you to roll off. So if anything, you're on the inside. I do want, however, your head to be off, your elbows to be here, and the strap is here. So if you can't reach the clasp of your hands, you can hold your strap. So this is the on position, and then the feet go on a block. So it's an elevated variation of bridge pose. It's also a precursor to shoulder stand. I'll talk you through the 7 keys once you're there. So start out with your blocks a little bit forward of the blankets. Land your blanket stack with your shoulders on the inside of that roll. Your head definitely off, your neck definitely off, but your shoulders on the inside. And then take your elbows by your ribs, press your upper arms into your blanket stack, fingers to the ceiling. Yeah, and then press your palms down. Start with your feet on the floor and just lift your hips up. Yeah, so when you lift your hips up, you're going to slide a little bit, so make sure your shoulders are on the inside of your blankets. And then bring your hands down by your hips.
And wiggle walk your shoulders underneath each other, and if you can reach to clasp your hands. Otherwise, if your elbows bent or it's not comfortable, use your strap instead of holding your hands. So if you're using your strap, your hands might be, just let your hands go apart, even shoulder distance apart. Yeah, and then getting towards your head a little bit. Press the top of the shoulders into your blankets. Take your feet onto your blocks now and lift your hips a little higher. Yes, there you guys go. So chest lifting up, chin dropping towards the chest. Back of the head. Rolling towards the crown. And then release your hands, slowly come down. We're gonna try one more time. Let your hips just drop. Take your feet down for a moment. And for most of the people in the room, you need to take your blocks a little closer to you. Just sliding. Yeah. So you want to have your blocks in close enough so that you can really feel like your hips go as high as you want them to go, which is certainly to your comfort, but also the more the higher they go, the more you're able to open the front of the heart. So try again, take your arms by the sides, roll your shoulder blades in towards the spine first. Let your head and neck be off your blanket. So it's patting a little bit more that way. Yeah, and then lift your hips up. Clasp your hands with this hands or a strap and then roll your shoulders under again. There you go. Yes, that's great. And then try your feet on the blocks. And if you don't like your feet on the blocks, you can take them on the floor, but do take them in a little closer to you. Yes. Drop the chin, back teeth are apart. And then lift the chest more towards the chin. So think about the chest lifting towards the chin more than the chin moving towards the chest. Find your breath all the way up to your collarbones, try your hands even wider. Take your hands wider apart, right now again. And the feet close again. Yeah. There you go. Even wider if your hands. So rotate the biceps towards the ceiling. That helps. There you go. Yeah. You stay as long as you're happy. Back to deafening part. Softness in the throat, softness in the jaw. Gaze towards the heart. So the queen inversions. The gaze is definitely towards the heart, which makes it an inward focus pose. Inversions are great for reversing blood flow in your body, especially when your legs are higher, which they're not right here, but also for lowering heart rate, lowering blood pressure. To come down, release your hands, lower your hips slowly, slide your whole body towards your head until your hips are in the blanket and your shoulders are on the floor. Rest with your arms out and open. So come all the way off of your blankets until your hips are on and your shoulders are on the floor like so. We're gonna end our last pose before Shavasana will be this inversion, which is just basic waterfall pose. So you scoot yourself back enough so your hips feel supported. In fact, take your hands in your hip bones and just feel your sacrum really pressing in. You want to feel the right and left side of your sacrum rooted onto your blankets. And then take your arms out to the side. And take one leg straight up. And then the other. If your back, your thighs are tight, you can bend your knees a little. Do reach your inner ankle bones towards each other, stretch your toes. And unless you have a hamstring issue going on, it should feel pretty effortless to just hold your legs in this way. So this is definitely one, this inversion. Where you get the benefit of the reversal of fluid. So usually the blood flow from our feet to our hips
He's working against gravity, so we're just giving him a little assistance here. Activate your legs just a little bit, so take your heels a little out. And stretch your toes, and reach your inner ankles towards each other. When you do those actions, you'll feel your thighs, front and back of your thighs engaged just a little bit more. Really then gently bend your knees in towards your chest. Take your hands on top of your shins. And invite them in a little bit more. It feels, especially if you're on 4 blankets, like you might roll toward your head. It's also nice stretch for your low back. Your feet to the floor. Slide all the way off your stack. Good, and then roll your knees to the side. And come on. Take your blankets. So if you have two, I'm gonna show you 2 blanket variations of Virasana. If you have 2, take one for your head and one roll. If you have 4, give 2 rolls for the knees. The knees are there. And I like after a back bending practice to support the spine in Shavasana, so you can do that if you have 4. And if you're at home and you have 2 of these there, I like the one for my head and my spine, you can do that and forget the middle. So to support the spine in Shavasana, you take this Tadasana blanket and just fold it in half. And take this blanket and fold it in half so you have a T shape. So now this one might be open fold, it just depends on your neck angle. You don't want your head dropping back, you want that position. And then have a eye pillow if you're, or at home, you can use a strap, socks. So this blanket, it's not touching your hips. You're gonna catch your lowest rib, come onto your elbows, and just kind of guide it into place. Make sure you can use Benton, because when you lower your spine down, you can take your hands to the flesh of your buttocks and kind of scoop them toward your heels a little bit. And then extend your legs one at a time so the back and knees are supported. Take your eye pillow on. Again, your head position, so 1 fold or 2 back here. Your head positioned so that your forehead is sloping towards your nose. Your gaze towards the heart is natural in that position. Your chin drops a little. The heart should feel pretty open at this point in class. So anyway. And let your gaze drop towards your chest. And find a soft quality inside your mouth. And back teeth are apart. Soft quality in the throat and jaw. Bring your awareness to your breath. Just noticing your natural rhythm of your breath first as you inhale and as you exhale. And let your awareness start to land in the heart center. Noticing the sensation of breath in the space of your body. And the subtle ways your body responds to your breath. And you might notice that with each in-breath, it just feels like there's a little more space around the energetic heart center, the whole chest cavity. A little more spacious. As you exhale your breath. You might notice the supports in the back of the heart space. Supported on your spine, the back of your head. A sense of softening as you exhale your breath and as you let the body go. And simply hold awareness in the heart center. Notice what you notice. So breath and body come into harmony. As you begin to transition out of this pose, pause and notice the physical sensations of this last heart opening position, Shavasana. Awareness of the head descending to the heart. Gently bring one hand to rest in your belly, one hand to rest in the heart. Then one knee up and then the other. And with your eyes closed, you roll to your right side and rest a few breaths. Use your hands for support as you guide yourself back up to a seat. Taking a moment with your hands by your hips to elevate the spine, to elevate the heart. Invite the elbows back into that awareness of wide open heart. Dropping the chin and letting the brain be in deference to the heart. And bringing your hands up by your sides as you prepare to bring your hands to Anjali Mudra. Set an intention for yourself that reminds you in a way that descends the brain to elevate the heart. And bring your hands together in front of the heart as you seal that intention for yourself. Namaste. Every instant. You're welcome. I hope you guys feel open hearted. But I'm happy to entertain any questions. Anybody online? No, that's good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
We finished just in time to finish our night.
Yeah, that bridge is out.
You know,
Just watched it.
pretty much, I should, like, just anytime it's raining, assume it's out. It's just,
Yeah.
especially if it's been raining like that.
Oh my gosh, it's like, I mean, it's part of like the creek, so, and there's so much debris that it's like pushed right up against the bridge.